Jason is clearly it's the kill confirmed.
Yes, because I'm all about the tags.
Yes, he collects all the tags. He runs around the map and only collects the tags.
Game
Like
type.
Pac-Man running
Game
around
type.
that map.
Game type. That's all I have to say. Hey guys, we're back. This is Jason. It's Old Guys Playing Games. If you listen to our last episode, you know that we have an alternative title for this show that Ken came up with on the spot last time. But we're back. It is early June. It's June already, guys. And we are still playing the damn game that we've always played, but we're going to share some thoughts on that. And then Ken has been pushing us to expand the horizons out of Call of Duty. And we've tried a few games we're going to chat about today.
We're going to go cooking. We're cooking. I'm ready.
Yeah, we need to do that today.
Is that available to download already? Okay, we'll talk about it.
It's not for a couple of years. That's not new. Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
What is it?
Sorry.
Okay, we're starting, and I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna start with Stu on this. As we have been playing this game, I don't know for how, and I'm talking about Call of Duty, whether we're talking about Warzone or Vanguard right now. We've been playing this game for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And when we talk about Warzone, let's talk a little bit about Warzone. The thing that is occurring to me is either we've gotten really damn good because we win every damn time, or there's something going on where no one's playing the game type and we're the only ones following the rules. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think we're better. There's no doubt we're better than we were when we started. And we always liked Plunder better because you didn't have to deal with the gulag. At least for gameplay perspective, right? We like the continuity of coming back in and helping each other, and the revenge factor. Josh loves the revenge.
He loves the revenge.
He is like
Hey, look, I'm not the only one that
Stu and
loves
Josh.
revenge. There's plenty of times where all of the other folks, Jason, how many times?
You're taking it
That's
as if
such a
it's
lie.
I didn't mean it as a bad way. What I'm saying is, when you're like a dog on the scent. When someone takes you out, man, you were just on it. Anyway,
Well,
I appreciate that.
I don't like to
killed that
lose,
last
that's
guy
the
4
thing.
times, but that's neither here nor there. I think because he was stupid enough to keep coming at you. Yeah,
That guy was just dumb.
I think we're
That was
better,
not even
Jason.
fun.
I also think I don't think everybody plays that game to win. I could be wrong. Maybe they do, and we're just that much better. But we're also really good at sort of hunting the boxes and getting stuff. And I mean, you're right. We just don't lose that anymore, right?
Ken, if there's 100, are there 100 individuals that join that game? And then, so that means that you probably have 20-ish teams. I'm just 20 to 25 teams at any given time. We're always
they do
one
quads,
or two,
right? So if
they
every
do
team
quads.
is a quad, but Josh and I played versus quads, and we were just the two of us. So yeah, on average, it would be about 25 teams.
And tell them what
believe
place.
it was
Tell them what
first
place we came.
Wow.
in.
2 of you. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
What's going on here? Ken, what do you think's going on?
I think so. Yes. When it comes to plunder, blood money, which is a plunder variant, I think that we do focus on the game type. We do go out there and get the money. We tend to avoid conflict whenever possible, but there are times where we set on revenge streaks and we start going after, or we get a bug and we go and get the king, the guy that has the most money. However, I think we have improved. I think that I have improved. At least I'd like to think that I have improved. So I think that we are playing better. And Josh, when I go back to the game that Josh and I played, only because I was the most proud of that recently, because it was just the two of us. I think we played well together. We stuck together as a team. We had each other's backs. We didn't engage unless we needed to. There were a couple times we felt like we wanted to get the king, because we felt like, okay, we're not getting money that we thought we could. So let's just go ahead and go after the king. So we engaged, but we pulled back and started getting money again. We still took 3rd place on that second run on Rebirth Island, which is a much, much smaller map. So I think there's a combination. I think one is if it's a plunder game, we do tend to stick to the game type and we play as a team. But I think we also have gotten a little bit better. So
Josh,
at least I like to think so.
In that game,
well, here's what I would say. Here's
well, I was just wondering, like,
sorry, do you have a question,
you
Jason?
sticking together, like, or are you guys going to separate parts of the map?
We were apart for a little bit, but then when we were screwing around, and then we came back together and said, all right, let's not. The prison is like the central fighting area on Rebirth, or wait, was that the
you're
Rebirth?
right. There was
Sorry,
Rebirth.
I'm thinking the Resurgence
center of the map.
So Plunder, I think, I think we pretty much stuck together.
Well, we were looking for transits.
Most of that game.
Transits.
But that's right. That's what it was. We were doing the transit system, and I think that we did run into people inside the transit, but we were able to get past it. But here's what I was just thinking about another angle to this. How many times have we won a battle royale? A true battle royale? No.
No,
never.
Jason, we won.
Never.
It wasn't a full battle royale. You and I won something that was close to it one time.
It was a different game type that was only around for a short period of time. I can't remember, but yeah, that's true.
But never a true battle royale. And here's what I think is that the real, I'll put it in air quotes, good players are in battle royale, right? And our game style is most of us are pretty aggressive, right? And when you can rebirth or respawn, it's to our advantage. But then when we get into a battle royale, we get aggressive, we don't stick together, or you run into a better player and you can't win that.
Yeah.
You're just not going to win it.
I tend to agree with you on that. However, we did play some battle royale this weekend. And how high did we place? We placed pretty high, did we not?
I want to say third or fourth.
Top five, definitely.
We stink in the final.
I believe we've come second before.
Yeah,
we can crack it. It's just we've never won it, but we win every single plunder, or even now that Blood Money Resurgence.
There's certain things we're not really good
time.
at. I think that would get us over the hump on really knowing the guns, but also using UAVs and at the end and those kind of things to really sniff folks out. We don't play that way at the end. We just sort of keep playing and try to, and which is why I think we're really good at Resurgence, because we can we as a team, we play with we can keep each other on having to go to a buy box, right?
Who always ends up when we do play Battle Royale and there's a final circle, who inevitably is the last one standing of our team?
Stuart.
It's Stuart. No, it's
Stuart has the most.
Consistent. I think. Well, I think okay. You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
No, you pick your ability to pick the final corner, and then keep moving to the best corner as it moves is uncanny.
Yeah,
we just can't seem to close it out though.
Yeah, we're better with the team. I mean, Jason, I remember that when you and I won that one time we were in this farmhouse, and it was one with the circle kept getting smaller and smaller, and I can't remember what that was.
Yeah, it was a different game type.
It's probably on. We recorded it, so I remember what.
The best one was the one we were in a farmhouse, and the four of us were in. We were all in a great spot, and Mr. Squirrel had to go out downstairs.
I remember where that was.
I wonder who that could be.
On the left side of Verdansk, and I remember it. He's like, I think it was that one. Or maybe, anyway, he's like, I'm just gonna go get it. Like, no, Jason.
And we had claymores, we had proximity mines. It was like all set.
What I love about Jason in those situations, and it's what I love about Jason as a personality, is that he says what he's going to do after he's jumped out.
So he asks for consensus after he has already initiated the first run.
I don't think he's not looking for consensus. He's just looking for validation. It's not consensus.
It's always this. Hey guys, what do you think we go over here? And then Ken, then Ned will be, I jump out, and then Ken will be like, oh, there he goes. Ken will always be,
which is fine when you're in a building, but when you're driving the vehicle that I'm sitting in, and I look over and you're gone, and it's going straight into a wall because you've left it. That's a problem.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, you mentioned transit. What is the transit system? You just mentioned that.
Yeah, it's something they've added in this season that after the Godzilla King Kong thing, we started seeing these different icons on the map. So we went to it, and it was a hole in the ground, a big trap door type thing. And we get in there, and initially, as of late last week, you get in there, and it wouldn't be anything. It would just be a couple hallways and one big area where you have a bunch of doors, but none of them would open. And then we happened to find one. You were the first one to find one, and it would open. And it opened. It took you into like a underground, almost like a mining tunnel, and then you would pop up in another part of the map. So it was like a fast transit to a different part of the map. Well, recently, I guess this weekend, they opened them all up. And now you can go into any of those transit holes and use any of the doors that are transit doors, and it'll take you all across the map. Like I mentioned with Josh and I, when we were playing, I wanted to show him the transits because he had never seen them. And we spent almost the entire game transiting from one site to another, just going up a flighted ladder to the next level to grab all the boxes, then go back down in the transit and go somewhere else. And it was just fun doing that. The scary thing about it, though, is that once you land in a transit location, anybody else could be transitioning anyway to that room as well.
Transiting?
They'll just show up. It's like a puff of smoke, and then they're there, and then we're like, "Oh my god!" And we start shooting each other, and so it's quite unnerving. But it's a great way to get around the map. But if you separate, it's really hard to get back together to try to find the same location.
Yeah, it's like Quantum Leap, right? Every time you're like, which doors? Like, I got to keep getting through the leaps to try to get back to where we started.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fun. It does add. I mean, what I find is most people aren't doing them.
Yeah, because we go in there. I may have seen one other person in there.
I did once pop into one of those things and like literally stand next to a dude. He's looking up. I'm like,
I watched you, but it was yesterday.
and then I shot him.
Yeah,
like, sorry,
you're
dude.
like, holy.
You're looking
Yeah.
I thought it was Jason.
So we've got. I don't know how many more days until the next thing. I think I'm ready for the next part of the game, and this is going to go to a topic we're going to talk about next after the break. We're going to talk a little bit about what Ken has been encouraging us to do, which is branch out from this game. Even though we love it, it's probably the best game, but we got to branch out.
But before we go, one thing I thought it was interesting, right? You think about last podcast we did, we were all enamored with, we loved the Godzilla thing, right? So it's a matter of, are we just getting bored with the basic game, right?
That could be.
Well, the thing they did add is the plunder quads, which I enjoy plunder more than anything. And I've had a new resurgence of enjoyment with
Pun intended.
Pun intended, with the Caldera map, because when we play it, normally it was always Battle Royale, and I couldn't explore the island. I would get killed and go to the gulag, and then I'd sit and wait for you guys to buy me in. But now with Plunder Quads, it has respawning, and I can go anywhere I want, and even if I die, I come back and check some other location out. So it's been a little bit more fun there.
So even though you're having fun, you want to branch out. We'll cover that.
I do.
After the break. We're back, and Ken has been pushing us, as I mentioned before, to branch out to other games. So Ken, what's on your mind, I guess, and then what are the games that you have been thinking, because you've been playing them, that this group would love to play together?
Well, I saw this game pop up called Roller Champions, and based on the visuals, I figured my son and I would probably enjoy playing it, and it's free through the Game Pass.
Ubisoft.
And Ubisoft makes it, and I didn't know what to expect, but once I jumped into it, I really, really started to enjoy it. My son is obsessed with it too, and of course, he's extremely good at it now. But it's basically roller derby, futurized roller derby. It reminds me of the movie from, what was it, late 70s, early 80s, Rollerball. Is that what it was called? With James Caan. And it's basically, you got a team of three, which you can co-op as well, going against another team of three. And it's an oval track, and you're on rollerblades, roller skates, whatever, and there's a ball. So you're going around. Once you get possession of the ball, you have to make a full lap around the map, passing 4 zones before you can score. And then there's up on the side of the wall, there's this hoop, not a basketball hoop. It's turned side 90 degrees. But anyway, you shoot through that, and that's how you score. If you go past those 4 zones in multiple laps, you get more and more points if you're able to score and stay alive. But your characters can also run into each other. You can tackle the other players, knock the ball loose, and once they take possession, it wipes clean, and you can't just pick up where you left off. You have to start over. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and the game mechanics are really well done. The action, the visuals, I really like it. I think we would have fun playing it.
I played 2 games. There's a tutorial that you've got to play, which I was a little confused because the tutorial is almost like a big skate park. And so I was like, ooh, this game is going to be way too complex for me. But then once you get into the actual game, it's the oval or the whatever that shape is. And it was fun. I played with a bunch of players I don't know. So I'm really thinking if the 4 of us get into this game. Are we able to do that though, Ken? Is it a 4-person or is it a 3-person team?
It's 3-person only. It stops at 3.
Why developers?
I don't know. I only assume that if you add 2 more players, which would be 4 for each side, it gets to be almost too hectic. They must have done some kind of balancing in the gameplay to do that, because real roller derby has more than 4 players on the court or on the rink than at a time. So I don't know. It must have been a balancing thing that they're maybe it'll change. I mean, again, this is a free to play, much like Warzone and Call of Duty. It's a free to play game. So maybe they'll make some changes throughout out. They'll have some quads going.
Stu, Josh,
I haven't tried this yet.
have you guys played any other games?
I haven't tried this
since we started.
I played F1.
Downloaded. I haven't played it yet. How is it?
21.
Hard. That's the problem with those games.
I don't know. I've never been the racing guy. I played it cumulatively maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just
I really
too frustrating
like it
for me. And maybe if I would have stuck with it, I don't know. I was in a race probably on the easy difficulty where you had the arrows telling you what to do and everything, and I got spun towards the beginning, and I could never catch. That's
the problem. I think unless that game, unless you have a driving rig of some sort, even a basic one and a wheel, it's just too frustrating for me at least. And maybe because I'm an old guy playing a game, I need a wheel. I'm a driver. So I've always looked. I know, Jason, you have too. We've looked at rigs in the past and other things. Eventually, I'll probably get one, but I think if you've got that, I think it's a world of difference, right? Even just a wheel, I think that's attached not to your lap, but to something, is a world of difference, and pedals. I think that's the big thing. Those games are not, in my mind, good controller games. The other thing I want to play, I downloaded F1 too. I want to play because it looks like fun, and I think we'll just be talking smack to each other the whole time, is Overcooked. Overcooked 2 is on Game Pass. This is one where a team of 4 basically have to prepare and deliver food.
It's a download or a cloud gaming.
It's I don't know. That's good. It's on Game Pass. I don't know what to look, but it's on stream too. So my guess it might be cloud gaming. But the idea of us all having to work together to do something and somebody not delivering something at the same time is going to lead to hilarity. There is no doubt.
Oh yeah, we'll scream at each other.
Josh, where is my bread, Josh?
Overcooked. So
Ken, did you eat the bacon? Ken, did you eat the bacon?
I had good bacon today. So I need to download this Overcooked 2, which implies that there was a first one that Ken, I'm sure, played at some point.
There is. There is an Overcooked 1. Yes. And by the way, there are also add-ons to Overcooked, like camping and a bunch of other stuff.
Different cuisines. You can go to different locations.
There's a surf and turf Overcooked. Yeah. That is correct.
Yeah. It needs 9 gigs, so I'm downloading it now. Here it goes. That's what I love about the mobile app, that Install 2. Yep. I just did the Install 2 my Xbox, so I can do that. Play it later.
I did that yesterday with a new game.
What else have you played, Kenny?
What else?
I was just looking.
I played a game called Outriders. It's a futuristic game. It's actually post-apocalyptic, which is one of my favorite genres, movies and games as well. And it does offer a cooperative play
Ooh,
It takes a bit of while to get into it. There's a good story along with it, so you have to go through the story as almost like a tutorial for a while before you get to the point where you can play with friends. And I really enjoyed it. But I'm that type of fan of that type of genre, so it really is basically the Earth is, we destroyed the Earth. Okay, let's all hug trees. Anyway, we all got in the spaceship and we go out to find a planet that we can survive on. And of course, they do cryo chambers and all this other stuff. But they had these outriders, which were a group of soldiers that would go down to the planet first and make sure it's safe before the entire transport landed and all of the civilians came out. And it gets down there, political stuff goes back and forth. It goes haywire. And then this guy, the main outrider, gets injured. He gets into cryo. And then when he wakes up, apparently all hell had broken loose. The thing crash landed. Civilians have gone into factions. And it's just a really well told story. I got kind of engrossed with it. I didn't think I would. Usually what I'll do is I'll just skip all that and go right into the gameplay.
Like me.
But I got caught up in it and I really enjoyed the storytelling. So yeah, that's what Jason does. He just skips everything, goes right to the gameplay, and he doesn't understand what he's doing because he didn't read the story. But
That's right. I depend on Ken. So what are we supposed to do here, Ken? So Josh, you were saying before the show, you stopped being interested in campaign for some reason. Any games, the campaign portion of it, you go right to the multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking about how if you threw a Super Mario Brothers at me today, I feel like I would not sit there and do that. But maybe it's because there's nothing comparable out there. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the difference is.
Life getting in the way, jump in, jump out type mentality.
Maybe. I think that's potentially what it is. But we never had this option of
right
multiplayer. The last time,
stuff,
we did
right?
have the
It was
mission.
always...
in Modern Warfare, we had those Spec Ops.
Love
that was
those.
the last time we did that, but we did have fun doing that. Yeah, and those are the ones I love.
But I mean, I'm talking about like a true objective, like a Super Mario Brothers, like a Pitfall.
Final,
where you get to the end.
I think it's because my game, the time that I have. Oh, go ahead.
Metroid, anything like that.
Good.
The time that I have to spend gaming, I want it to be
time.
The friend, the multiplayer friend time. And so like, even when I get on there to play, when I think I'm going to play something by myself, I'm like, oh, someone's online. Then I immediately drop the single player. For me, it's a social thing.
And I think some of it, and I think that's right. And I think, some of it also gets to the unpredictability of playing with just humans as opposed to playing a campaign where you've got some sort of, story arc you're going through, which means you have bots and all the other. I know there's something about every time it's different. Because what I don't like, I go back to Ken, the one that gets me is Arkham, right? I loved Arkham. I loved it. But the stupid one where you got to drive the Batmobile to the cave and I kept it and over and over and over. And I'm like, I'm done. I've done it now 50 times and maybe I'm old and maybe I missed something and I missed the jump by a tenth of a second. Now I'm going to go back and redo the whole thing. There's a point where that, like, there's no chaos to that. Whereas with the games, there's something that feeds the brain of jumping in and every time it's going to be different.
And there's no creativity, right? There's there's no ability for the player to be creative in their approach. And and I agree with you. There are games in the past that I've played where it does have a mission base. It is a story driven. It is it is a cooperative play that you can change your approach. You can change the way you do things. So every time you do it, it could be different. Some things are always going to be the same, like the thing is always going to be in the same location that you have to get to or whatever. But I do know what you're saying. I am annoyed by that as well. And I lose patience with it. But I think that I'm hoping that moving forward when they offer cooperative play, which by the way is like by way of the dinosaurs these days. I mean, where's Halo co-op? Where's the Halo co-op campaign?
Yeah, they said May.
Royale, basically. Yeah.
They said May, right?
So that was promised to us in May.
But Halo has a campaign.
Yeah.
Halo has
Josh.
Halo has a campaign.
I'm about 80%.
A single player campaign? No, I have not.
Jason did.
No, I'm 80%.
Yeah, Jason did. I started playing the campaign.
But that would have been the only when you were 12.
Right.
That would have been the only thing you could do.
So speaking of which, Ken, you mentioned it. I don't know why this slipped my mind, but Modern Warfare is the thing that has that amazing campaign with co-op.
Spec Ops.
Does that mean that the new Warzone that's coming out you think that's gonna have that?
It doesn't mean that.
It doesn't.
But I really do hope it does. I have not read any articles that mention that it's going to have any kind of cooperative campaign or spec ops option to it. I am very, very hopeful. I really do miss that because even though we're fighting bots, I do like the teamwork aspect. I like covering each other, whereas in multiplayer, all we do is we run around separately and shoot stuff and rack up points and laugh about it. Even when we play Plunder, we tend to kind of split up and go get as much cash as we can, which is fun. But there's something about teaming up back to back, protecting each other, and trying to strategize a way out of a situation that I really, really enjoy. And I want to get back into trying to do that. I think the reason we keep going back to Call of Duty is because, one, we are old guys. We have lives outside of this, and we are typically going to be a jump in, jump out type scenario. The other thing is that when we do have the time together, which is not as often as we'd like, we don't necessarily want to try something new that we're afraid is going to be a disaster. Right. So it's very similar to how I feel when I go to restaurants. If the restaurant has something I know I've had before and I enjoyed it, I'm just going to order that. I'm not going to branch out and get something else, because God help me if I go to a restaurant, order something and I hate it and I spent money on it. It's like, let's not do that. I'm too old to try new things and just, pay for the experience. I'd rather pay for the enjoyment. So, but I think that's probably partly why we tend to gravitate towards COD. But I played a couple of single player games the past couple of days, and I've enjoyed them. So I think that we can probably find a happy medium. I think Overcooked 2 is going to be our jump in. We also can play Uno, and we can play the Jackbox games and stuff that. So we just got to commit to doing it.
So,
well, I'm downloading Overcooked now too, so we can play that one.
Okay, we'll play it later. Final topic, and this is a spoiler alert.
And
wait, Josh,
we know.
Wait, Josh.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, Josh had something.
No, I was just going to say, I was just reading that the Modern Warfare 2 June 8th,
that's when it comes out, or that's when the trailer
comes out?
Oh yeah,
that's the review, right?
Worldwide reveal.
No.
Yep.
The reveal is coming out.
That's the reveal.
That the game comes out in October.
Right.
Cool. All right.
So we should talk about that next time.
The final word, I just want a phrase from each of you. What game or game type are you the best of the four at? What game or game type are you the best of the four old guys? I'll give you an example. Josh is Vanguard. Keep going. Finish it. What's your best game type that you crush all of us? Now I know, but what game type in multiplayer will you beat us like 95% of the
Ship House?
Not what map? Game type.
Oh, Joshua.
Everyone?
Ken, you're next.
Oh,
That's not
his
true, by the
answer.
way.
All of them.
Ken, what's yours?
I'm glad we started with the
Then mine's domination. Mine's domination is to, where you have to, I don't want to say capture the flag, but you own a location, you protect it. That's the one I think I'm the best at.
That is true. Stu?
Are we just talking best or score-wise?
Who most often wins the game type you're
Oh,
talking
no.
about? Ken is correct. Domination. Ken usually will be towards the top, if not the top. Stu?
I'm usually pretty high on the top. I'll say of a multiplayer. I'll say if Josh isn't playing, I'm usually at the top of hardpoint. I'm usually pretty good at hardpoint, but if not, I'm usually at the top at hardpoint.
Okay, back to Josh. Now that you know.
I mean, I have to question.
Oh,
stats here.
Usually,
But,
Hold on. Game type. Game type.
what are we
we
talking
need a new
about?
friend.
Josh
Who
is
spends the
only
most
good
time
game.
on the objective?
Oh, that's
Between Ken and Jason.
That's what we're
If we
trying to
wanna
talk about.
that stuff, then yeah, you
I know what
guys are
Jason's
for
is.
sure.
Go ahead.
Jason is clearly it's the kill confirmed.
Yes, because I'm all
You're the
about the
tag
tags.
master.
Yes, he collects all the tags. He runs
Yeah.
around the map and only collects the tags.
Game
Like
type.
Pac-Man running
Game
around
type.
that map.
Game type. That's all I have to say.
Game
So
type.
Josh is only good at anything that involves just shooting other players because he doesn't quite follow the game type. He's great at it,
Shooting,
but he
killing.
doesn't follow the.
He usually has the higher.
What the?
doesn't follow the
Usually
rules.
has the highest score on
Josh.
every map.
Josh, this
Yeah.
is true.
Let's look at
If
it.
you're denying it, then you're in denial. You
Yeah.
are.
But wait, I want to understand what we're talking about. Are we talking about being
No,
top of
no,
the leaderboard?
no.
Or are we
Who's
talking
best
about
objective
being on the
game?
hard
What
point?
Every
game
game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which
Oh,
is
okay,
never
okay,
Josh.
Okay, that's fine. That's
And
fine.
with
All
that-
right,
Now-
all right.
now
So
that
Josh
that's
is
clarified,
usually
that's fine.
the top of the leaderboard of any game we play, but it's usually because of kills, not
That's right.
because of
That's
game
all
type
he knows.
objectives or any of
And
that
streak-
stuff.
And streaks.
And
Yeah, he's good at
streaks.
kills and streaks.
He's killing it.
But that's not the game type.
Yes.
So, okay.
All right, I'm gonna have to now
Uh-huh.
adjust my game
Josh, you be you.
play
man.
so that
you,
I can
you be you, Josh. You be you.
I can get back in.
With that,
No,
no,
I like a challenge.
Jason.
right? Let's go.
Oh my God.
I'm Stuart.
I'm Jason. Nope. Guys,
Look, no one was going, so I went.
Oh,
I know.
Just stay quiet. You know it's not your
Josh.
turn.
Wasn't it Josh's turn?
Yes, we're going to ridicule
Alphabetical.
him as well.
Did he say
Yeah,
anything?
No, he
Then-
didn't.
okay.
He
No,
deserves
and then-
ridicule.
He was still trying to explain how he was.
And we're the
out of four.
old guys playing games. Until next time, we'll see you again.
On that.
Good Lord.